Kyle and Herwig are founding partners of Security Token Group. All opinions expressed by them or guests on this podcast are solely their opinions and do not represent the views of Security Token Group or its subsidiaries. You should not take any opinion expressed on the show as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow any investment strategy. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Hello and welcome back to the Security Token Show, episode 149. It is an amazing day here in sunny Miami, Florida. My name is Kyle Sonlin. I'm joined with my business partner and co-host, Herwig Konings. And today we have another great one to kick off. It's Friday. Everything is livid and exciting here in Miami, Florida. But before we dive into the Security Token Show, as you know about the Security Token Show, we're talking blockchain, investment banking, everything to do with the financial industry. And we have to thank our sponsor, which this week is Robinland. Robinland leverages blockchain technology to equip investors with an improved experience in terms of enhanced transparency, security tokens. They can give issuers, investors, and agents access to the same sources of truth, which are highly transparent, immutable, and they help the cap table stay up to date in a digital fashion. In terms of greater decentralization, investors can now keep the digital certificates of their ownership, which is a security token, in their self-custodied wallet instead of on a private database or a centralized entity or institution. There's only a few of the innovations that Robinland is building into its investment product thanks to the blockchain technology. You got to go check out the interview that I did with Scarlett, the CEO, recently here in our STM studios, and all of the other great things to do with Robinland at robinland.io.
Love that interview, and I love Robinland. Thank you for making this show possible. It wouldn't be here without sponsors like you. And of course, we can get right into the show now. We've got the latest and greatest industry news. We've got the latest security token offerings, everything that's happening in the secondary market. And of course, a quick deep dive into what's happening in the Metaverse, followed by today's main topic, Kyle, which I'm pretty excited about. We're going to be talking all about us. Security Token Market, that's the parent company behind the Security Token Show. If you don't know about it, you're going to find out. And with that, Kyle, let's head into the top 5 things that you need to know. Kicking off the latest things that you need to know happening right now. Number 1, INX has announced a new listing of a security token, one that we're actually familiar with, the 5th largest currently trading on Security Token Market, and it's Millennium Sapphire. This is the world's largest sapphire, folks, and it's backed by an NFT studio that's already issued NFT collectibles, and this security token gets you a piece of that action. It's now cross-listed, another novel innovation of security tokens, cross-listed between CryptoSX and now soon INX. Super, super exciting. Congratulations to both.
That's awesome. A new trading token in the US markets. And number 2, going to a different ATS. This time, Rialto Markets CEO Sherry Noonan sat down with Crowdfund Insider and gave a lot of interesting insights into her views on the market. Rialto is focusing specifically on private market assets as opposed to some of the other competitors and other industry players that are trying to focus more on traditional public securities. And so Noonan came out and said recently that she sees that the private markets will grow to $30 trillion in asset size. It's estimated to be around $7 trillion to date. Potentially enhanced liquidity being one of the main factors for why this market will continue to grow. On top of that, she discussed the investment from Invenium into Rialto Markets, as well as some other interesting things. Check it out on Crowdfund Insider.
That's pretty awesome, Kyle. That's a 4 times increase over the next 8 years in the private securities market. I would love to see that. Number 3, we've got Chamath. He's a well-known financial pundit and investor. And he says actually that Bitcoin is in fact a security. Not quite. He says it should be regulated like a security. He doesn't think that it actually is a security, but due to its systematic risk to the crypto industry, it should be regulated like a security in order to bring in a lot of the best practices of Wall Street, bring in a lot of the foundation, and of course, regulation and protection that securities bring. And that's why we love security tokens. So Chamath, I'm kind of with you.
A lack of clarity only hurts these markets. Moving into number 4, we have Trucpal. Trucpal is starting their fundraise on INX, another headline issuer for INX. This time, they're launching a $20 million fundraise starting on July 25th. They are the first Chinese STO as far as I am aware of. And shout out to Vincent Kong and the team at Trucpal for everything they're doing.
That's awesome. Now, number 5, last but certainly not least, is the SIX tokenization of F10. The SIX is the Swiss International Exchange. They've got a digital exchange component of that, focused, of course, on security tokens. And now they've announced a partnership with F10. F10 is actually get this, is an international fintech and insurtech innovation ecosystem. Super cool. Definitely look more into that. And they're actually, interestingly enough, also using Aquatic as their token issuance registry services. Meanwhile, of course, it'll be trading on the SIX. So again, another token for the market, Kyle.
And with that, I think we can go to Anna Yancey for the rest of the industry news.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Anna with your industry news. I'm excited for my first time on the show, and I've got big shoes to fill replacing John Pittman. I mean, who doesn't love him? But you can still catch him over at his own open tab on YouTube. Now let's get into it. First off our list, we have new U.S. commercial law rules for digital assets are being changed. It is expected they are to be finalized and adopted by state legislators by this fall. The new law rules will affect digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, tokens, electronic notes, and electronic chattel paper. These rules will create a uniform playing field with more certainty for transactions in digital assets, but can also hold some surprises for those not prepared. Some things to note are that the rule changes the definitions of conspicuous in Article 1 and replaces them with a statement that states that whether a term is conspicuous or not is a decision of the court. The law also provides for electronic money and clarifies that an adoption by a government of a pre-existing cryptocurrency does not make that cryptocurrency money for UCC purposes. Additionally, it updates certain provisions regarding electronic checks and payment orders to track current practice and technology. Everyone with an interest in digital assets should consider how these new rules will apply to their business and whether changes in their practices and contracts are warranted. Next up, we have Governor Lamont announcing Oasis Pro Market plans expansions in Connecticut. This expansion project would create 91 new jobs in the state over the next 4 years. Oasis Pro Markets is bridging the world of traditional finance, blockchain, and decentralized finance. It operates an alternative trading system called Oats Pro that allows subscribers to trade digital securities and make payments for digital securities in digital cash or fiat. The Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development is supporting the project by providing a grant in arrears up to $1 million, contingent on the company creating and retaining 91 full-time jobs. That's awesome. Moving on to Stobox, they are releasing a digital securities dashboard for PowerShift properties. The new platform offers an easy way to earn a more stable income stream that allows investors to own fractional ownership of existing and new properties on the blockchain without hurdles of being a property owner. With them, investors get exclusive access to real-time metrics. They can influence which properties they can invest in and how dividends are structured. The company also uses the gold standard for self-organization. Next, we also have a crypto defier, and that will be FalconX. The company has defied the crypto bear market by raising $150 million in a Series D fund round. It has doubled its valuation in under a year, and it is now valued at $8 billion. Their CEO says the investment will allow us to further accelerate growth by looking at merger and acquisition opportunities that add strategic value to their existing core offerings. And that's it, folks. I'll catch you next week with a fresh batch of news. Now I hand it off to Megan for the STO updates.
Hello and welcome to the Security Token Show. Shout out to everyone that came to our Miami Tech Party at Marlins Park this past Friday. It was iconic. I better see some of that beautiful STM merch around Miami, but now let's get into these tokens. First up, we have Trucpal. They have announced that the Trucpal digital security token will go live on INX on July 25th. HGC, the owner of Trucpal, also a blockchain-based SaaS platform serving the Chinese freight market, announced the partnership with INX, the owner of the blockchain-based trading platform for digital securities and cryptocurrencies. They will be offering the Trucpal digital security token on July 25th with a fundraising goal of $20 million. HGC is a leading digital SaaS service provider serving the Chinese freight market. HGC maintains its strengths and position through continuous business innovation. With an annual output of $1.5 trillion in 2020 and annual transportation volume of 52.1 billion tons in 2021, in the Chinese freight market, HGC believes that China is the world's most promising digital freight market. Recognizing the rapid growth and benefits of blockchain technology and security tokens, HGC has worked closely with blockchain experts and advisors to launch its own security token for the Trucpal ecosystem. After a preparatory phase, including designing the token's economic model and an in-depth compliance audit and technology development, HGC is now ready to offer and list the Trucpal security token using the INX platform. This collaboration between HGC and INX will bring the first security token to the Chinese freight market, which is incredibly exciting. This will potentially allow millions of Trucpal users to turn their contributions into financial rewards through the Trucpal digital security tokens in compliance with U.S. securities laws and regulations. It is also a very positive contribution to the development of HGC freight ecosystem. This will foster collaboration among others and encourage both INX and HGC to explore the future of digital securities together. You can head over to INX for more information on this upcoming offering. But we have another offering. Next up, we have Avana Resources Limited, or Avana. They have announced a $20 million digital security token offering to accelerate and broaden its production and exploration capabilities. Avana Resources Limited, an Isle of Man company, is an East African gold producer and explorer founded in 2007. Avana is engaged in responsible and sustainable production, development, and exploration of gold resources in East Africa and Madagascar. The company has explored and identified gold in Madagascar and other locations. Furthermore, the team is also aware of other metals and minerals in all of its locations as a result of geological surveys and exploration work. Token holders have the potential of benefiting from significant opportunities related to these minerals. Token holders will be entitled to 30% of net profit originating from all revenues generated from Avana Resources globally. Further information about Avana and the token offering is available at the company's website, avanaresources.com, or you can read more at Digital Journal now. Next week, I'll see you right back here with more tokens. But now let's send it over to my brilliant bestie, Samuel.
Hello and happy Monday! The security token market cap is down from last week, settling at $18.7 billion. Last week, we saw the market cap pump several $billion based on the move by a Negro group, which we talked about. This was while macro equity markets dumped. It's a strong sign that the security token market cap has held up, settling at these upper levels. And while I often talk about symmetry between market movements, we have definitely witnessed divergence over the past couple of weeks. There are a couple possible explanations for this. One of which being that alternative assets are long-term in nature and FUD, or fear, uncertainty, or doubt, is not much of a factor given the illiquidity of the trading assets. Another potential explanation is that investors are seeing an opportunity in an underpriced market and are taking advantage during this overall downturn. As a result, buyers are willing to bid higher in investments that they see increasing in value in the future, taking advantage now. The INX digital company, or also known as INX, the ATS, which is a broker-dealer, interdealer broker, and owner of the digital asset trading platform, announced that the MSTO token, one of the world's top digital securities, is now listed for secondary trading on their INX platform. MSTO is founded by financiers, art collectors, and crypto enthusiasts. It's a one-of-a-kind security token known as the Millennium Sapphire digital security, and it represents fractionalized ownership of the Millennium Sapphire, which is exactly what it sounds like, a sapphire. In fact, the world's largest sapphire. The Millennium Sapphire features unique carvings depicting triumphs of humanity. The Millennium Sapphire project has also created NFTs of the renowned gem and sold fractionalized ownership of the sapphire via an STO. It's very interesting to monitor moves like this as we can see how different companies are positioning themselves for the future. It is clear that the Millennium Sapphire team sees the future with INX Limited, so they're taking advantage now. That's all for now, but have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you next Monday.
Wakey wakey, welcome to Inside the Metaverse with your host, Yves Abankwell. Tony Hawk is the latest celebrity to take his talents to the Metaverse. Announcing Wednesday, he'll be creating a skate park and 3D avatar collection in the Sandbox. The avatar NFTs released by Tony will feature the outfit he wore during the 1999 X Games when he landed the first ever 900. One of the craziest moments in skateboard history. Next, Samsung launches its new Metaverse experience titled Space Tycoon. They have partnered with the Roblox platform, and the world will feature Samsung products that can be constructed by picking up their fundamental components, and also include a shop for in-game items. Moving forward, a Britain court gave the okay for someone to be served legal documents via NFT. The ruling comes from a case brought by Fabrizio Diola, the founder of an online gambling company, who is suing the cryptocurrency exchange Binance. Karlie Kloss has entered the metaverse by partnering up with Roblox. They will create 5 pop-up shops that will run until July 25th with virtual fashion pieces that players can purchase. There are 6 free items, and the paid items will range between 50 and 100 Robux. That was Inside the Metaverse with your host, Eve Van Gogh.
Thanks, Eve. And now into the next segment, which is maybe my favorite of the week. This is Companies of the Week, where Herwig and I picked 2 companies that stood out to us specifically for things that we wanted to highlight of the 2 biggest movers in the industry. Herwig, please lead us off. Who do you got?
Episode 149, another entry in for Company of the Year. This week, my Company of the Week, Kyle, I got to give it to Trucpal. Trucpal is an awesome STO. They've actually been huge supporters of everything we do here at Security Token Market. They're even a sponsor. So for sure, we love everything that Vincent Kong and team is doing. But I want to highlight that not only, of course, as you earlier heard, they are launching on July 25th with their STO, but I think it's quite unique. One of the first, as far as we know, Chinese STO. It is an opportunity to get investment in a very interesting sector of startups, specifically a SaaS business for freight trucking technology for Chinese trucking industry. Huge, massive industry. They're doing fantastic. You got to go check it out. My Company of the Week, Kyle, got to give it to Vincent Kong and Trucpal for doing some amazing things and finally launching that STO.
And from one issuer internationally to another international issuer, my Company of the Week is F10. So F10 is the first tokenized issuer on the SDX, the Swiss Digital Exchange, which is a subsidiary of the SIX, the Swiss International Exchange. And basically what happened here is F10 is a company. They do a lot of tech infrastructure support. They provide development resources, do a lot of kind of fintech style of management for outside firms, do some white labeling and things like that. They are tokenizing their shares, which really in this case is all about the cap table and managing a digital cap table, which that share registry having that actual firm, where here in the United States, we would use a transfer agent. That's how the regulation and that's how it kind of works here in the US side. In this case, they are using a digital share registry through a company called Aquatech. And so this company is actually providing that digital share registry, cap table management, X, Y, and Z on behalf of F10, and then they're launching on the SDX. This is pretty cool. The reasons that they were focused on this specifically outside of the additional just convenience of managing this cap table registry through a digital solution was a higher ESG rating. Of course, you need to comply with a lot of those different regulations, as well as higher likelihood and more easier equity funding. They see this as an opportunity actually to increase the value proposition of their company, and we couldn't agree more.
I absolutely, of course, agree with that too, Kyle. It's a great choice. F10 is doing some big things, and Swiss law does allow a little bit more flexibility when it comes to security tokens. So I think this is a super cool case study as you just outlined for us. So great job, Kyle. I think that's a great choice.
And with that, let's dive into the main topic.
Let's do it. It's time for the main topic, episode 149. We have actually never talked about Security Token Market, Kyle. That's the company behind Security Token Show. I'm sure you've heard of it, but I bet you don't know everything that we have to offer, and it's a lot. So we thought we'd take today to really break down all parts of this business, as well as other ways you can start leveraging all of the different things that we've got going on here at Security Token Market.
Absolutely. We're excited to share just because, of course, you know the Security Token Show has been running since June of 2019.
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years that we've been putting on this show every week. It's certainly been a grueling effort, but we love to do it. And it certainly is much more fun now that we've got a whole team behind us. in terms of both sitting here in front of the camera as well as our production team that does an amazing job in getting it all together so that I don't have to do it in GarageBand anymore. So the great thing about Security Token Market is it's just only one of the different things that we have inside the company. And so there's really, I think when you look at what we've been able to provide, we do quite a few different things, but you can kind of boil it down to really two buckets, right, Herwig? We've got the media side of the business and all of the amazing production, shows, content that we produce on a daily basis, as well as the research, the data, the analysis, a lot of the visualization behind what's going on in this industry, providing more transparency backed by real information, both on-chain and off-chain. And so that's what we wanted to dive into today, so that you can get the full suite of services, you can understand more about the security token industry, and make sure that you're involved from head to toe.
That's right. The show started in 2019, but Security Token Market's been around for over a year before that. We launched October 11th, 2018, with the mission that we needed to bridge the gap of information for the security token industry. At this time, there were maybe roughly around 80 to 100 security token offerings in existence throughout the entirety of the industry. And there was no place, no single location, no repository where you could go and find out what are these tokens, what are they backed by, where can I buy them, what is this information, and thus Security Token Market was born. So we actually started out focusing on the data. We have I remember the grueling days where you and I started, and then we slowly built a team, and we had a lot of interns helping us, and they eventually also joined the team. So now today, we actually don't just cover the primary offerings, but most people know us for the secondary offerings, right? The markets need price data. Kyle, maybe you could talk a little bit about why this is, what I would say the most important thing about Security Token Market.
Sure. Yeah. So back at those early days, the problem was that most of the private securities transactional data was hidden behind accreditation walls, because way back when, if you were here from the beginning, you remember that the misconception that security tokens were only for accredited investors, that you couldn't share this information, you couldn't participate. And that's obviously been proven very incorrect throughout the period, both in terms of primary fundraisers and secondary trading. But back in the day, there was nobody bringing it all together. Brokers didn't really want to collaborate. Issuance platforms still probably don't really want to collaborate in the closest of ways. And so we needed that central, or that kind of third-party central point to connect and link everything together. And that's really what we strived to be. Over that period of time, we were tracking all of the trading assets on T0, Open Finance at the time, which is now INX, who was their acquirer just a year or two ago, as well as a few of the other portals. We had Uniswap, a decentralized exchange that was providing some liquidity for some of the international assets that we've tracked over the years. And Security Token Market became a visualization platform, the opportunity to show this information. We tracked news through stomarket.com/news. Hopefully some of you have used that in the past. That's where we submit all of the content here on the show. We go there every day to find out more articles, find new submissions, and find the headlines in the industry, as well as the fact that we now create a lot of research, a lot of components around this to create conclusions behind this data. Because as we realized, just having the information really wasn't useful. What you needed was, how can we create information behind it that we can make accurate business decisions based off of the data, as opposed to just getting it raw. So that's really where the STM portal, and where the platform has continued to provide those services, stm.co. And there's some good news in the pipeline that little birdie tells me that there's some great redesigns and reworks that are coming very soon.
I wonder who would possibly know about that. Kyle, as you can see, data is the name of the game. What powers all of those things is the actual information of what are these tokens trading at, and we are the one-stop shop for you to find all that out. How many marketplaces, how many tokens, talk to us, what we cover.
What's the market cap? That's really what everybody looks at right now. Who are the top 5, 10 trading assets? We've got what are the volumes that they're looking at over even on a daily basis, all the way through to weekly, monthly, or over a longer period, talking about how these assets are moving in price, if they're liquid or not, which some of them are, some of them are not. Or if you want to find international versus local assets here in the US, or real estate properties specifically, and really understanding exactly what's going on in the space. And then we cover all of the primary side, as you said, tracking these different listings. What are the new ones coming out? How is this market growing? And we certainly have seen very healthy growth with a market cap over $15 billion. We're talking about a 5 to 10x growth, even just this year alone. And that's year over year as well. We've seen significant growth in the industry. So the STM platform has been the number one source, from our opinion, on where you can really get the best coverage of everything trading in these markets, which there is no other centralized location to get that. You really can't find it anywhere.
It's our job to get all the data for you in one place. That's the only reason we know how the market is growing and how the market cap is changing and how everything is actually unfolding within the markets. And 15 billion, as we know, is just the beginning. Very, very exciting. But of course, the old build it and they will come situation didn't quite work out. We got all the information, but the security token industry, let's call it pre-COVID, pre-2020, was really quite bare. There was not a lot of interest. The focus tended to be either on crypto, DeFi, NFTs and such, or you were on Wall Street and you didn't care for any of it. So security tokens were kind of in this weird middle position, stuck in between a rock and a hard place, if you will. And so we said, you know what? It's our job to not just provide the information, but to talk about it as well. That's what inspired the Security Token Show. That's why we have a full blog now where you can go blog.stomarket.com. You can find incredible information there. Information about the latest happenings in the news, interviews. We've got the Tokenize This series, which features every week by Peter Gaffney, a new tokenization use case. We've got the Token Tuesdays, which of course covers one of the active security tokens in the space and other information around the industry. It's all there. There's a ton of information how security tokens work. People like to read, so we had to start putting it out there. So hopefully, if you didn't know about it, you're gonna go check that out and learn some more there. But of course, Kyle, it didn't stop.
No.
We started out with the podcast. It was still a small production team at the time as Kyle was handling it on GarageBand. But fortunately, in 2021, we managed to receive some capital that allowed us to actually dedicate to the studio and go from audio to visual. And here we are, right in front of you, talking to you on YouTube or wherever else. You might still be listening to us. But it wasn't thanks to our incredible head of production, Nick Steffen, who made it possible for us to move into the camera. We bought our first set. We got ourselves a green screen. We tried to make it work. And now today we've got a full-blown production team. We've got a creative director, executive producers. We've got audio engineers. It's all in the mix. And of course, it's what allows us to create such amazing content, I think, like this show, but many others too. Security Token Show is, of course, a little niche. It's a little focused on the industry insiders. There's a lot of jargon. We try to break it down and keep you in the loop. But at the end of the day, it's very for in the industry folks. Whereas we wanted to start to branch out. We've got an incredible team. We've got all this media and studio resources now. Let's start launching more shows, we said. So we actually ended up launching Spilling the NFT, which was led completely by the women on the team. So congrats to Kayla, Jessica, and Megan, the hosts, and of course to Delaney and all the other wonderful people that are now involved. And it didn't stop there. Spilling an NFT was a great showcase to say, okay, let's start trying out different formats. And we quickly launched an interview series right after that with John Pittman, who, as you know, just recently left the show. But he's still, of course, over at OpenTab doing his interviews, giving you all the latest sauce and information from local entrepreneurs and technology and industry leaders here in Miami. Pretty cool, too, given that he was a bartender. And then he came up with the concept of, let me serve drinks while I do the interview. And of course, we are here in Miami, where there is a massive Hispanic community. Spanish is maybe the first primary language around here. So of course, we needed to launch a Spanish show with our amazing hosts, of course, Jason Barraza and Luis Nogueira, and they do it completely in Spanish, crypto con leche, as it goes. And that's, of course, the breaking down crypto and blockchain and eventually security tokens completely in Spanish. And it doesn't stop there. We got some more stuff in the mix. Maybe you've heard or seen some reels from Megan Meets Miami, where Megan will actually go around and introduce herself and quiz people that they can win crypto here in Miami, game show style. And last but not least, the Token Truth, among many others, to go ahead and get into the raw featuring some great beats by Nick Stefan himself.
So we've got video content, we've got written content. We also have What's Drippin' by Jonas Schulman's, our newsletter that's been going on for, I believe, over a year now. And he has been doing that every Monday, a casual way to start your week, talking about security token concepts. We know there are thousands of email subscribers now that are checking that out, which is fantastic to see. So we've been producing all types of content in every medium, depending on whatever you prefer. Not to mention social media too, right?
Correct. We do our very best to bring it all in one place, the data and the media, so that you can go and find the latest interviews, the latest AMAs. We've got video series talking about different companies. We've got one of our own if you want to learn more about security token market beyond this podcast, this little segment. And of course, we've got an amazing community. We love our community, as you said, on social media. We love to engage on Twitter. We're all over LinkedIn. We, of course, have our Discord. I bet you didn't know that we've got a weekly trivia every single week. It's getting pretty competitive now, and it keeps you on your toes when it comes to security tokens. And of course, there's a whole lot more else there in there, so you can find the others in this industry, talk to them, and collaborate and figure out how we can all, spread the gospel of tokenization together.
And let's look at the big picture and talk about why this matters. And so from our perspective, having the media allows us to build a top of funnel resource, as well as providing financial transparency for security tokens. And so what we're really trying to do here, and what we like to try to provide, is helping build liquidity. Everybody in the industry likes to talk about security tokens are great because they'll trade, because there'll be this healthy secondary market, but nobody wants to do the hard work of actually building a community, educating people, really putting in that daily work of driving the adoption of this industry. It's not good enough to just have your token available to trade. In order to get it to trade, you need to build a healthy investor base, a group of consumers, a community behind your product. You need to align your customers and your investors. And we do that by providing transparency and by really capturing as many eyeballs as possible. And we'd love to work with anybody that sees this and wants to find some ways to collaborate.
We are the industry's biggest cheerleaders. We love everyone and anyone working or investing or doing anything in this space. So with that, hopefully you don't have questions, but if you do, you can, of course, reach out to us. Kyle and I are available all over social media. Of course, you can just directly ask the community too. And we are looking forward to catching you again next week, every Monday, the Security Token Show. And hopefully you catch a bunch of our other stuff too now. So with that, signing off. We'll get you next week, and happy tokenizing.